Welcome to Loving Soul Tarot. My name is Selma and I am your reader. So today's messages are from Baba Yaga, and I already recorded some information about her, and I will put that information before the reading because I feel like if you know about that, you could understand the messages a bit better. And if you are not interested in it, I will put a timestamp in the description so that you can skip to the video if you like, to the reading. But I highly recommend listening to this information about her. Who is Baba Yaga? Maybe I should ask first, who are we as humans? Humans are energy that exists, and this energy is translated in the human case into bodies, into physical bodies, into special ways they look. And so is Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga is an energy that exists, and her vibe and her frequency are a little bit different than the human frequency, and because of that she is not visible with the physical eye, but she, like I said, is energy that exists, and by that this energy can also be translated into visible form, which is in this case into the form of this doll. I just had this strong urge to create her, and I did not know how she would look, so I just started. And she's made of spun cotton, and the face, the hands, and the little bones are made of polymer clay, and also the rest is made of nature materials. And I want to start by describing her so that you can understand her better. First thing is that she wears a long brown skirt, as you can see. Now, brown is a very earthy, warm, nourishing color, and the long skirt has the shape of, has a conical shape, and this conical shape ends directly on the ground, as you can see, on the floor she stands on. So this conic shape forms a circle on the floor where she stands, right? So the energy inside of this circle can then spiral up. The movement is spiraling up. The earth energy is spiraling up into her lower body. And this part of the body, the lower body, is also the part where we women can welcome children. We welcome them, they grow there, we nourish them, and then we give them life. So they are, and this is the very earthy aspect, they incarnate. Incarne is Latin, in means in, carne means flesh, so they move into flesh, they move onto the earth. Earth being on earth in this case means being in flesh, and this is this earth goddess aspect of her, this nurturing earth goddess aspect. So this is, for me, Baba Yaga is definitively an earth goddess, very connected to earth, to Mother Earth, what she's also called often. And then you can see also her apron has the colors white, red, and black. So you might know that these are the colors of the so-called triple goddess, means that the three aspects of the goddess are living in her. So white is the maiden, red is the mother, and black is the crone that she embodies. But she also, of course, has the maiden and the mother inside of her. because otherwise it would not be possible for her to be the crone, because these aspects belong together and one cannot be there without the other. Then she has very long hair. Now, long hair is showing us, it's like antennas to the universe, to the etheric world, and long hair is showing us the very strong connection and the consciousness of everything that is, that comes with this connection automatically, because you know, you sense, you see, you recognize, you realize, you just know. Her hair is not only very long, but also touches the ground. So this makes her very sensual for what is going on in the ground, on earth. So it's somehow like you could imagine she being in her hut and somebody's moving towards her and she's sensing it from very far away. She's just sensing it. She has so fine antennas. This is the aspect of the wise crone. And then she has the bones. She has the bones in her hair and she has the bones on her neck, and also she has needles of the yew tree. Some of them are broken, and she has an agaric fly mushroom here. Of course, the bones and the poison of the yew tree are standing for her connection to death. So she is very known for her connection to death, and this is why many people are afraid of her, and this is why she is known as a kind of dark witch or dark goddess, because people are naturally often afraid of death and what is bringing it with it. So death in this case means a transition, means a transformation. She is walking between the worlds, and the earth and death is something that belongs together, being on earth and death, and it is, like I said, a transition. And also her sickle is standing also for death. You cut something off, but as you see on her sickle, there is also the rune. Do you see it? Yeah, the rune Berkana. And Berkana is standing for the birch tree and standing for new beginning. So you might think, what does this rune on this sickle? But in fact, it's not able to end something without having a new beginning. So, and this is also the aspect of the triple goddess that she's also embodying with her white apron, the new beginning. Something ends, and with it automatically there must come the new beginning. So, and this is what she does. She helps really. She is a kind of, I think people like to call it shadow work. When you're doing shadow work and then you really look at the depths of your being, and this is really not comfortable to see and you are afraid of it. And this is the vibe that she's carrying. But looking at it and working with it then brings healing, then brings the rising of consciousness. This is what she does. She does it in an uncomfortable way, but with that it really can go deep. If you are just looking on the surface of something, then there can be no deep healing, never. You really have to go deep and you have to walk through the yes. This is what she's doing. She's also cleansing with her besom, and her besom also represents the birch tree. And of course, of that, her healing aspect and her nurturing aspect, like I said, is here in the red of the mother, and also in this bag she has, I do not know if you can see it, a little bit, there's a rest of herbs. This is mugwort. I feel like she is very connected to Margaret. And this is also the healing medicine that she's carrying within her bag. She is such a wonderful being. I really love her. She is so close to my heart. And what else? I also want to point out her sense of humor. Look at her face. I don't know if the camera is really giving her credit. But she has this sense of humor in her eyes. But you could be a little bit afraid of her when you look at her straight in the eyes. So she's really, she has a kind of, you might call it dark humor. And she's also kind of, she has also, I think she has a little bit of this trickster vibe, but a trickster vibe really in order to point something out for you, to realize, to recognize things. So this is the way I perceive her. Now I want to start with the reading. Okay, then let's start with the messages. And I feel that she really wants to point something out to create a higher understanding of how things work together. And this is that she's saying that, I mean, she is here all the time, but while the dark seasons, and I mean with that fall, winter, she is somehow more, her presence is felt more. And this is for a reason, because she is saying that this quality of time in fall, winter is like preparing a ground for her that is fruitful, that is more fruitful. I mean, you can do shadow work and work on yourself all time of the year. And no matter when you watch this video, this doesn't matter, but the time quality, especially of these seasons, help her to really get more attention and to do her work better in a way, because the season is automatically attracting people's attention to what is said or seen as death. I mean, there are leaves falling down and plants are dying, some animals are dying because of the season. And in the end, in winter, there is more darkness, it's more cold, and you see the bones of the trees, and it's nothing left than the essence anymore. So, and this is what is meant to bring people's attention to this topic. And you will even know that often people are, when it's cold and more dark and more cold, they say that they are not in a good mood anymore. And there is even the term of winter depression. And this is why this is a kind of, this would be a good point to start from when this all comes up, this so-called darkness comes up, to really look at it and to really work with it. Because this is what is Baba Yaga meant to do. She's pointing with her finger on these things. She scares us in a way because she wants to put the attention on these feelings, on these emotions and trauma and whatnot, what is hidden in the depth of our beings. And yeah, and she wants to really mention this, that this is what she's meant to do. And I can see her like her face directly in front of my face and doing weird things with her face, like really like scaring people, but not in a bad way. Like I said, it is meant for transformation. And this is where also her humor comes from, because she sees it she has this big overview. She sees it from a higher perspective. And from this higher perspective, this is not the judging perspective. And of course, when we are in a situation that is scary and horrible, yes, this is somehow experienced as this is real. I say now this is real. And at the same time, it is not. From this higher perspective, it is not. And because she has this higher awareness, this is where her kind of humor sometimes comes from. She wants to point that out because it is really for the people to better understand that. And it is to understand really to get this higher awareness of how these things work and how and yeah, that people really see that, because often people experience themselves or think they are separated from nature, which is wrong, because they are part of nature and they are nature. And so what is happening in the outside is a mirror for them in the outside. And yeah, this is what she wants to say. This is this this overview of how things work. This is what you want to point out, really, to make people understand better. Okay, and now I want to ask her, the people who watch this, the time they watch it, no matter when they watch it, what is important for them when they watch this? Is there something for them to do? What is the message for them? Okay, I have the Six of Swords. On the back of the deck, I have the Six of Cups. And I also want to have a Knight of my Shell Oracle. Okay. We have those two. Okay. I think that the message here is talking about your childhood, because of the Six of Cups. And you want to be aware, you want to be mindful. This ray is standing for mindfulness. You want to be very mindful. And by being very mindful, you are automatically more aware. You are more aware of people or circumstances that drain your energy. Be aware of them. And the moment you get aware is the moment where you are going or are able to go on a journey where things get better from one side to the other. From, I don't know if you can see it, from there is rain where we are starting right now into the clear starry sky, and the stars are standing for healing. So it's important. And the thing is, and when we grow up with something, then we are used to it, and it is quite normal for us. So it might not be easy for you, even if you are mindful, to really realize the things that are draining your energy, because you are so used to it. It is quite normal. So you might feel uncomfortable, but this is somehow really, it's somehow kind of foggy. You cannot really grab it. it might not be that easy. So what can help us? What can support us by recognizing in our mindful state what does not serve us? What can help us then? Oh, I have a lot of items. I have 4. I got the penguin. I got this toxic sea snail, and I have this hard shell, and I also have this little bracelet that says, "What would self-love do?" Okay, so the first thing is, and this is like, and now this warm mother earth goddess that I was talking about her, this one aspect of her is now really coming forward, and she is like, in my mind's eye, really like stepping behind me. This is the picture I want to share, and then really having her hands on my shoulder like that, and then really saying, "Hey." And this is this motherly aspect I was talking about, this supporting, this nurturing, warm aspect. And she is with that really saying, know that you are loved, that you are love, and you are so worthy. And really, this heart in this case is really standing on the one side for self-love, and on the other side it is really also, it is really holding everything, the whole universe in it. Because when you do healing on yourself, you do not only healing on yourself, but also in a way for all. Why? Everything is connected, and when you bring energy in harmony, this has an effect on everything that is around it. And really, one thing that you can do if you are in a situation where you feel uncomfortable, and this also has to do with a decision that you do for yourself. And when you are in a situation where you feel uncomfortable, then she says what helps you is to ask yourself this question: what would self-love do? You could even go and make yourself a bracelet like that and remind yourself, what would self-love do? And then you can also go further. You could imagine you are a parent, mother, father, and you have a child, and this child is in a situation that makes it feel bad. What would you do for that? And then really see these both sides in yourself. See yourself as the parent and see yourself as the child, and then nurture this child. And what could you do now for this child? Also, try to imagine that a friend of yours would be in your situation. Imagine you sit with this friend, and this friend is talking to you and telling you about this situation, and you are the observer, the observing person. And when it's not about yourself, it's about your friend. And even if you only pretend so, it will be easier for yourself to see what's the point in the story of your friend. So you can easier see what you can do to really do something good for you. And this penguin, when the penguin walks around on Earth, you know how this looks. It looks quite funny. And at the same time, when he dives deep into the waters, he is a very elegant swimmer. And Now, the analogy is diving into deep water, diving into the depth of yourself, into your feelings, and so on. Diving into it means becoming conscious of it, while when you are not conscious of it and walking somehow around on earth, you are then not this elegant, means that you are not really, in a way, in your full potential. I hope I made this picture, I hope I could explain that well. So it is about really diving deep, and then by diving deep, this shell is a toxic one, a toxic seasonal, and this is really talking about, and it's also talking about patterns. It's talking about toxic patterns. By diving deep, recognizing toxic patterns. And you know that there is a certain level of transformation that you can do on your own. And then comes the next level. Because some things are so traumatic, are stored in our DNA and in the deepest depth of our being, and we are so afraid of them that we are not able to do this alone. And when it comes about things from your childhood, then it also comes automatically. It's all about things that are in your lineage, in your family. And to do healing in your family, it is really what I've been experiencing, the best thing to do, family constellations, and really find a trustful practitioner that is able to do this, and that is also an uncomfortable one. When somebody is not uncomfortable, oh, I know it from experience. When somebody is not uncomfortable, then you are not going that deep. Then you are really staying more on the surface, which is also okay. But if you really want to go deep, if you if you really want to transform, and you have to go deep. And then this is really where the dark side is, where the fear is. This is really okay. Is there something special that in this time we should look at? And just also coming up that she's saying that it is something that you will, after doing so, after really going through this, you will be growing, and you will be so much more than you expected to be ever. And your life circumstances will change. Because if you yourself change, then your circumstances automatically change. They have to. They cannot. They can't, because they are the old things are not in alignment then anymore. And then there must be change. Blame. Something else. Open. And self-pity. Okay. It is good to be open, to change your perception and your way of thinking about your concepts of blaming somebody else for something. Because what we do when we blame somebody for something is we put ourselves out of the position of self-responsibility. And it's of course easy to say, it's your fault, this is your fault, this is your fault. And of course, things happen and people do things. And everything somebody does has a consequence. So it's not about pretending that somebody did not do something to you. For example, sorry. But it is about you asking yourself, what has this to do with myself? To be open, to look inside yourself or open yourself to yourself like a book, and then really without judging yourself and without judging the other person, what does this has to do with me? And I also have self-pity, and this has also to do with self-responsibility, because when I have self-pity about certain situations, then the energy of that is putting me in a helpless mood. And this helpless mood and the not responsibility for myself then make me feel stuck in the situation, and I'm then not able to change it. But when I see in the mirror of the other person what it has to do with myself and what can I do myself to change things, then I come into the active part, and then this is the point where healing can begin. And like I said, sometimes it's possible to see which topic is behind it or what is my part of it, and sometimes it is not. And then it's really good to have a person to help you with that. Okay. I want to tune in if there's something else. Yeah, she wants to say that we have to learn to not judge ourselves and others. This is what is also coming with this blame, because really open your consciousness and learn that it's a difference between seeing things that happen and see it's not good for me, and between judging, because seeing and observing it neutrally is not judging, and when I'm judging then I'm again blaming. And to see that all these things are human things, and it is in a way normal, in a sense that it belongs to life. Life here on earth is has polarity in itself, and you cannot get a coin without the other side of the coin. Be aware of that. And this is really something she wants to point out. And now I want to ask which rune can help us. Oh no, this is my oracle. Which rune can help us in doing so? Let's see. Interesting, yeah. And this is Thurisas. This one is talking about really letting the pain be there in order to get healing. There must be a wound, otherwise there will be no healing. Okay, this is really a deep, understanding of how things are. I guess these were the messages for today. Thank you so much for listening. Wishing you all the best and see you in the next reading. Bye.